how you going? So today on BKRsport, we are going to be wrapping up the 2023 NRL season by going through all 17 teams in the competition, seeing what they did this year comparatively to maybe last year. Did they go up? Did they go down? Did they stay stagnant? Was there a couple of players that really did shine out for them despite their record? Even if they are in the top 8 or the bottom 8, it doesn't really matter. There are still really nice players in each individual team that had a really cracking season despite the, I guess, efforts of the entire team as a collective. So you can still look for the positives throughout, the negatives. And there are negatives, a lot of them for a lot of these teams down the bottom of the table. But you can always find someone, you can always find something. And today, guys, we are going to be starting off with the Wests Tigers, who obviously did finish in 17th this year. There was another team added into the competition in 2023, which was the Redcliffe Dolphins. And that did mean that, unfortunately, the Tigers, who finished 16th last year in a 16-team competition, did end up dropping down lower to 17th this year. Usually everyone says, look, you come last, the only way is up now. You've hit the rock bottom. Well, guess what? You can keep on moving. Well, unfortunately, the Wests Tigers broke this trend. They broke that trend of the only way is up, and unfortunately did go down past the unthinkable point of there's no further down. So really disappointing there in regards to the ladder positioning. However, I don't actually think this year was worse than last year. Crazily enough, I will say that I actually think that I enjoyed the Tigers this year more than I did in 2022, which is a crazy statement because this year they've had 4 wins, and last year they had 4 wins. So I guess based on that, you can look at it very similarly and say that, look, they're both on the exact same wavelength there. They both came last. They both had the same amount of wins. However, I do think there was a little bit more excitement about this year, and obviously they did beat the Panthers in tumultuous conditions. I think that was in Bathurst, which didn't really tell me a lot about the Panthers at the time. Like, I knew that was just tumultuous conditions and nothing was really going to change. But it did tell me that the Tigers can really get up for the game. They can get up for a game, but it just isn't consistent at all. Like, it's the opposite of consistent. Actually, well, to be fair, they're consistently not that great. But there is some encouraging signs here. Maybe not in the organisation, and we'll get into that in a second, but they had 7 losses straight to start the season. 4th longest winless streak to start the year, which is crazy. They really needed to capitalise on the momentum that they were getting in the off-season, where they signed these players like Isaiah Papali'i, they signed up BKRsport. These guys coming into the team, capitalise early and try and get a good foundation and platform to really go on with the year. But unfortunately, 7 losses straight to start the season was not great. Now, they did obviously beat the Cowboys at one stage 74-0, but again, that consistently not that great came back to haunt them, where they were 66-18 losers. And that 66-18 original game that they did play when it was at Leichhardt did show that they do have talent here. However, there was a lot of things that went into that game. I think it was Luke Brooks' milestone game. It was the last game at Leichhardt. And it was just, there was a real frustrating vibe and real anger vibe around the Tigers at the point the Cowboys at that time weren't that great at all. And yeah, the Tigers put a score through them. But then the consistently not that great came back in with that 74-0 loss there to the Cowboys up at North Queensland. So yeah, really frustrating one there for the Wests Tigers to see they have the talent, but then also get absolutely brought back down to earth. And not even back down to earth, gee whiz, they went underneath the damn well ground. Underneath the damn well ground. They're getting towards the core of the earth there. But I do say, the one player that you really look for here in the Tigers, Dream Buller. Like, what an absolute star. He came from the Gold Coast Titans academy system, I believe. As a Titans fan myself, I never really knew of him. We do have plenty of AJ Brimson, Jaden Campbell, Keanu Kinney. We've got plenty of talent there. So he would never really gotten an opportunity. So he's gone to the Tigers and he got an opportunity and he really took it full grasp. It was really good to see Dream Buller as the fullback for the Tigers this year and be their shining light. At BKRsport, obviously, he did what he needed to do. He was a leader and was one of their best players throughout the year, if not their best player throughout the year. But I think we were all expecting that to be the case. Overall, though, for the Tigers this year, positive signs. There is encouraging signs, but mixed in with old demons. Positive signs mixed in with old demons. But although I do look at the playing core and say, yeah, look, the playing core wasn't that great. The playing core didn't get what they needed to do done as a collective. There was still a lot of mix-ups. Their halves, their fullback wasn't Dream Buller until about halfway through the season. Their backline, this is the thing with the Tigers as well, right? Going into the season, pre-season, they actually signed all these players of want rather than need. I think BKRsport was a player of need, right? But for me, they really lacking the halves. And they got rid of Jackson Hastings. They still had Luke Brooks there. They didn't really have any halves. And their backline was all over the place. So they really bolstered up this forward pack. but they never really looked into the back line. And that was where the problem really surfaced for me. And that's what, if you guys are watching preseason, you know I wasn't a big believer in this Tigers team this season. I think I had them for third last. I had the Dolphins last and the Dragons second last, I believe. So I got that one spot on, but we'll get into that in the next video. But the Tigers obviously underwhelmed even on my underwhelming prediction, because a lot of people were putting them up towards, that top 8 area, which I found absolutely crazy. But again, positive, encouraging signs mixed in with old demons. I do think that a lot of the blame here does go down to the organisation, because it's now been 12, 13 years now since they've seen the finals. This Tigers team is constantly at the bottom. Even when that really awful Knights team of the 2010s was, and I still believe that was the worst team of all time, that Newcastle Knights team mid-2010s when they won back-to-back spoons and whatnot. The Tigers were competing with them for that spoon, but they just never got there because they weren't as bad as that Knights team. So the Tigers have been really low for a very long time, and I do believe the organisation has to take a lot of accountability for this team right now. And I think the proof is there as well, that the board is now under review, Hadata Pantelis is under review, and also Justin Pascoe is under review. So the Tigers are trying to achieve a better outcome through the organisation right now. It's really looking like they're starting to put the motions in place to improve the back end of the team, because most people look at the playing core and they go, oh, it's their fault, and they're the ones on the field. The organisation isn't the one actually playing. Well, they're the ones who piece that together, and there's a lot that comes into actually piecing together a team. So for me this season, I am going to grade them an F, but I'm going to give them a plus. The only reason, so it's a bit of a weird one. I'm going to give them a really weird grade here, an F+. And the reason I give a plus is because there is those encouraging signs, but they're definitely still a failure of a year. It absolutely 100% is still a failure of a year. But I'll give you that plus, just that little sneaky, something, give you a little bit of hope there. And hopefully next year you can try to improve a little bit more. But I don't see them going crazily upwards, but maybe they could go up a couple of spots there next year. So I appreciate you guys as usual. If you're liking this, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here, comment in the chat, in the comment section, what your thoughts were of the Wests Tigers in 2023. Do not forget, we're going to be doing every single team throughout the season on this channel. So like I said, hit that subscribe button, but I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Boop! See ya!